Hello everybody, it's story time with Kiwi in Space here. And let me know if you think that's a good intro. Please. Anyway, I am about to tell you a story that has been on my mind ever since it happened to me because of how bizarre it was. It was brief, but I remember it in great detail because of how weird it was. And why I never told anybody about it, I don't know. I guess I thought it didn't really matter or was off topic at the time or maybe just nobody would believe me, but now I think I should tell somebody about it. So this is the story of my strange encounter with a really weird woman in a sushi shop. And no, it wasn't that kind of encounter, you pervs. And once again, you can either listen to me talk and look at something else, or you can watch me cruising around in Haven over here. This was back when I had a job at a restaurant on K Road. I've been thinking about making a video about why I'm not working there anymore, but for now I want to focus on this. My job at the restaurant was one as a dishwasher. But when I wasn't working there, depending on what day it was, I was having lunch at a sushi shop that was right next to the restaurant. I had two different shifts there. The first one was a 4-hour shift that started at 11, and on those days I'd have lunch before my shift began. The other was a 3-hour shift that started at 10, and on those days I'd have lunch afterwards. But on this one particular day, I was sitting there eating my lunch, and then, from out of nowhere, somebody walks in and says, "Buy me a drink. I'm hungry." Not only was what she just said there brain dead stupid, water doesn't say hunger, but she actually said it so quietly that it took me a moment to realize she was talking to me specifically, even though there was nobody else in the sushi shop. That's kind of impressive actually. So I look up, and the person standing before me is this plump Pacific Islander woman who's wearing a provocative dress. Her mascara is poorly slathered around her eyes, and she has this weird sex doll expression on her face. I'm not kidding, her eyes were bulging wide open, and her mouth was dropping open just like a sex doll, allowing me to also see that she had no front teeth. There were so many questions flying through my head. Who is this woman? Why is she telling me to buy her food? And where are her front teeth? But ultimately I just said no and I got back to eating my lunch. At first I thought that was going to be the end of it as she started picking some food from the counter. But then she said something else to me that I didn't catch, because again she said it so quietly that it actually got drowned out by the background noise outside. Though thinking back on it, she was probably saying something along the lines of "buy my food." At that point she was actually starting to get on my nerves, so I turned to her and said, "Will you please stop looking at me?" And then she left. Actually, no, she didn't just leave. It's more like she stormed out of the sushi shop like she was angry at me or something. She didn't even buy the food that she picked from the counter, and one of the women working behind the counter actually had to put the food back on the shelves. Who was that? Why was she telling me to buy her food, and where were her front teeth? Was she really hoping that men were gonna buy things for her because the dress she was wearing was showing off her cleavage? Was she high? Was somebody playing a prank or testing out some sort of social experiment? I really hope it was one of those things, except for her being high, because I really don't want to believe that anybody could possibly be this dumb.